Someone drops a book behind you. Your shoulders jump, your eyes slam shut, your hands snap up. All of it happens before you've even turned around. You didn't decide to flinch. It was already over before your brain finished asking what happened. Neuroscientist Michael Davis spent years mapping this exact circuit, and what he found breaks how you'd expect a nervous system to work. A loud sound doesn't travel to your brain's thinking centres first. It takes a shortcut, your ear, straight to a cluster of neurons called the cochlear nucleus, across to a switching station called the nucleus reticularis pontis caudalis, then straight down to the muscles in your neck and eyelids. 3 synapses. That's the entire loop. It takes 8 to 15 milliseconds. Consciously recognising the same sound takes roughly 200 milliseconds. Your body has already reacted and moved on before your conscious mind even clocks what happened. You're not flinching because you decided a threat was real. You're flinching because a threat might be real, and your nervous system isn't willing to risk the wait to find out. Part of that reflex is a hard, fast blink, and it's not random. Psychologist Frances Graham was one of the first to document just how automatic this shield really is. In her lab, she clocked the blink firing in a fraction of the time it takes to consciously register danger, your body sealing off one of its most vulnerable, irreplaceable parts before you've confirmed there's anything to protect it from. This isn't limited to sound. Psychologist Peter Lang studied what's called the looming response, the flinch triggered by anything that appears to be rushing toward your face. Researchers have found it in infants only weeks old, long before a baby understands danger, distance, or physics. Show an infant something expanding rapidly toward its face, and it flinches and turns away every single time. Nobody teaches a 2-week-old what a collision is. The response is already installed, waiting. Picture an ancestor standing near a tree line. Something moves fast at the edge of their vision. There's no time to work out if it's a falling branch, a rock slide, or a lunging predator. So evolution built a shortcut. Treat every sudden, looming stimulus as a threat first, and sort out the truth after the muscles have already moved. A flinch that turns out to be nothing costs you almost nothing. A flinch that doesn't happen when it's actually needed can cost you your life. That's why the reflex skips your cortex entirely, at least at first. Your cortex gathers information, checks it against memory, weighs options. Powerful, but slow. Psychologists estimate your senses take in something like 11 million bits of information every second, while your conscious mind can only actually process around 40 of them at a time. There isn't room in that narrow 40-bit channel for a full threat analysis in real time. So the brainstem, older and far more primitive, gets first say. It doesn't ask permission, it moves the muscles, and the thinking brain only catches up afterward, which is exactly why you can flinch hard at a car backfiring and feel a wash of embarrassment half a second later, once your slower cortex finally clocks what actually happened. This is also why willpower can't cancel a flinch outright. You can tell yourself, standing in a haunted house, that you already know the jump scare is coming and you refuse to react. Psychiatrist Christian Grillen, who has spent decades studying what's called fear-potentiated startle, has shown that anticipation can dull the reflex slightly, but it can't switch it off. The circuit generating it was never built to consult the part of you doing the anticipating. Your startle response isn't fixed though. It adjusts itself constantly. Psychologists Philip Groves and Richard Thompson documented one half of this. Play the same loud sound to someone over and over, and their flinch shrinks a little more with each repetition, a process called habituation. A threat detector that keeps firing at a sound already proven harmless 20 times over isn't doing its job well. Frances Graham documented the other half, called pre-pulse inhibition. Play a faint sound a fraction of a second before a loud one, and the startle to the loud sound shrinks dramatically, even when the person can't consciously hear the quiet cue at all. Your nervous system uses that faint warning to brace itself, quietly, without ever telling you it did. This same circuit shows up across the animal kingdom, which tells you how old and essential it really is. Biologist Robert Eaton spent his career studying a pair of giant neurons in fish called Mathner cells, which trigger an instant full-body flick away from vibration in the water, fast enough to dodge a striking predator before the fish has, in any real sense, noticed anything at all. Neuroscientist Claire Rind found the insect version of this in locusts, a single neuron called the lobular giant movement detector, tuned to spot an object expanding rapidly in the visual field. Different nervous systems, separated by hundreds of millions of years of evolution, arriving at the exact same solution. Horror filmmakers have exploited this circuit for decades without ever naming it. A jump scare pairs a sudden sound with a sudden visual change, timed to hit right when your attention has drifted. It doesn't matter that you know you're sitting safely in a theatre. Your cortex knows that. Your brainstem doesn't get the memo in time, so the same 8 to 15 millisecond loop fires anyway, which is exactly why a jump scare still works on you the 5th time you watch the same film, even when you know precisely when it's coming. Context changes the volume too. You flinch harder walking down a dark street alone than at the exact same sound in your living room during the day. The noise hasn't changed. Your nervous system's background threat assessment has, and it's feeding that assessment straight into your reflexes without ever consulting the part of you that would call this an assessment at all. So the next time something makes you flinch before you even know what it was, you're not being jumpy. You're watching a piece of ancient engineering do exactly the job it was built to do. Faster than thought, faster than fear, faster than you. And if you actually want to blunt it, before a scary movie, a fireworks show, a haunted house, don't bother bracing yourself. Bracing is a cortex trick, and this reflex doesn't answer to your cortex. Use the one thing Francis Graham's research proved actually works. Give your nervous system a small early warning, a quiet word, a soft tap on the arm, a countdown under your breath a second before the loud moment hits. That faint cue is enough to trigger real pre-pulse inhibition and take the edge off the jolt. Someone drops a book behind you, and for 8 to 15 milliseconds, your body already decided you might be in danger. Your mind is only just now finding out.